My name's Katrina Moore. I've been fighting fires since 2012. I love being on a fire and you get to be places that people haven't been forever. It's pretty much always off trail, and then you're just in the woods and you stumble across animal bones, or went to the Great Plains and studied magazine journalism of all things. And that actually brought me into my fire career, just because when I was living in Jackson, Wyoming for a magazine journalism job, I met a woman who was a smoke jumper, and I just thought she was like the coolest woman in the world. Typical day on the fire line: if you're off district, you're at a fire camp. So it's a little mini village they've set up to provide food and all of our needs, like extra fuel or extra parts, extra tools for anything we need. So you'll get up, usually about 6, like it's always really early mornings. Once we get our assignments, then we head out in our vehicles and go to our section of the fire. And then we're pretty much out all day. That's usually we're on the fire line about 8. I'd say that's pretty typical. And then you hike into your part of the fire, or you have to go scout a lot of areas. And then you're either digging line, which is removing all of the flammable parts down to the mineral soil to provide kind of like a little, if you imagine a trail, so it's a fire line break in between the fire and then what it would try and consume next. Challenges I've faced being a woman in male-dominated fire. I guess to let you know, there's about 10% is how it kind of breaks down of women in wildland fire, like across like all positions. So being part of that 10%, the hardest time I had was when I got to fill in on the hotshot crew this past season, just because things are more intense with them, and they already knew each other really well, so that was even harder, just being kind of an outsider jumping into a crew that know themselves well. But they're like 6'5", and they carry, our line gear weighs about 25 pounds, and then your extra stuff that you're carrying around can be up to like 70 pounds total. So for me, that's like a good 75% of my body weight. And for some of the other guys, that's not as much. That's like, I don't even know, 30%, some of these guys. So it was really hard to feel expected to carry that same amount of weight when it was so much harder and like physically tasking for me. But they gave me a lot of credit for just even trying. Even if I couldn't carry it as long, I still could carry it. I could still bear that burden for a part of the way, like hiking up the mountain, carrying 5 gallons of gas on my back, the same as right there with the other guys. So they helped me out when I needed it, but I also like did my part, and I was part of the team. Would absolutely recommend this career if you are someone who loves being outside. If you enjoy sleeping in the dirt, hiking a lot, and just pushing yourself. I never knew what I was made of until I started fire. I've physically and mentally, you just never know what you can do until you're put in situations that push you so far beyond what you would normally put yourself in.